Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gershwan and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue taking on more viewer requests. If you guys have any suggestions for topics that you guys would like us to create a video for, don't forget to comment down below, put suggestion followed by whatever Imperial Guard Regiment, Space Marine chapter, or what have you of Warhammer 40K that you guys want us to create a video for. Now we're tallying all of those up, and the ones with the most tallies get videos, except for this one. This one paired so well with yesterday's video of the Tanith First and Only that we couldn't pass this up. And of course, Mr. Killer Snowman was able to predict this yesterday. He said that we were going to make one of these videos, or this particular video, and we did. So we have a Farseer in our midst. And he's also a Killer Snowman, apparently. So let's get into 40 facts about the Blood Pacts. The Blood Pact is a warrior chaos cult dedicated to the service of the chaos god Khorne that is engaged in trying to maintain a grip of the forces of chaos on the Sabbat worlds. They are sworn to the service of the Archon Orlok Gore, the leading chaotic warlord of the Sabbat world sector, and are named the Blood Pact after the chaotic ritual in which they are sworn into the Archon's service. The exact origins of the Blood Pact remain unknown to Imperial savants, but fragmentary evidence and the legends of the Sabbat worlds indicate that the pact originated approximately 3,000 standard years ago on the world of Gaura at the edge of the sector. At that time, Gaura was a pharaoh planet whose tribesmen were ruled by a feudal overlord called the Gar. The Gar led a priesthood dedicated to the chaos god Khorne. The priesthood eventually became a martial force that served as the Gar's elite bodyguard and transformed its savage sacrificial rites into a highly effective tradition of martial discipline. Over time, the Gar's people gained access to spaceflight technology and began to spread his influence across other planets in the Sabbat worlds. As the Gar's rule spread, it became a mark of nobility to have been entered into the Blood Pact with the Gar and become part of his elite troopers. Eventually, his group of coronet warriors grew until it had achieved the size of an army in its own right and became known as the Blood Pact. Imperial intelligence now estimates that there may be as many as 750,000 warriors currently in the Blood Pact, an unprecedented size for a coronet cult. And every member has been inducted into the pact, personally by the current Gar. Imperial forces first learned of the Blood Pact's existence when the Sabbat Worlds Crusade was launched in the 755th year of the 41st millennium to retake control of the sector from the forces of chaos. The Sabbat Worlds were a relatively new acquisition of the Imperium of Man, having only been colonized in the 35th millennium, when the forces of chaos had first been driven from the sector by the Imperial Crusade led by Saint Sabbat. Saint Sabbat was a woman said to have been blessed by the Emperor and for who the sector was later named. Around the 600th year of the 41st millennium, a large chaotic army, commanded by the warlord known as Archon Nadzibur, had conquered the Sabbat worlds. Nadzibar's forces were not a single army, but an alliance of many different chaotic warbands drawn from across the sector, each led by its own warlord, who was known as a Magister. These Magisters served as Nadzibar's lieutenants, and their names still ring in the ears of those who suffered at the hands of chaos in the Sabbat worlds. These Magisters included Ankuwana Sect, Enoch Inokati, Sholen Scar, Heritor Ashoded, Naked the Brilliant, Urlok Gar, and the Gar of the Blood Pact. In the 755th year of the 41st millennium, the High Lords of Terra granted the Lord Militant, Slido, the rank of War Master and ordered him to raise an army of the Imperial Guard to undertake a new Imperial Crusade to liberate the Sabbat worlds from control of chaos. Slido went about the task diligently, and eventually his massive and well-equipped Imperial army faced the forces of chaos on the world of Balhat. Though the battle cost Slido his life, he went to meet the Emperor with the knowledge that the chaotic troops had been routed from the field and Arch Nadzibur had been slain. After bloody infighting among the surviving chaotic magisters, a new Archon emerged from the ranks of the various warlords to lead the forces of chaos in the Sabbat worlds. Urlach Gar of the Blood Pact. As the new Archon, the Blood Pact soon became the heart of the chaotic forces, greatly enlarging its numbers and expanding its capabilities as many smaller Chaos warbands chose to undertake the pact with Gar to garner his favor and share in his spoils. Only a few years after the Battle of Balhat, Imperial intelligence recognized the Blood Pact as the most elite of the chaotic formations they had faced in the sector as the Crusade grew on. The Blood Pact demonstrated its unusual effectiveness as a disciplinary military unit for a coronet cult during its victory at the Battle of Akorite Peninsula on the world of Belshire Binary. Belshire was a vital world for both sides in the Sabbat World Crusades because of its status as the primary source and refinery of promethium fuel in the stellar neighborhood. A force composed of 200 Blood Pact warriors, supported by 4 Stalker tanks and 2 of the Loxen Xenos brood group, succeeded at cutting off and destroying a much larger force of about 3,000 Imperial Guardsmen, led by the Pact officer named Vesh Etogar. Etogar was his rank, equivalent to a colonel. The forces of chaos had lain in stifling heat for 3 full days without breaking their cover until the Imperial Guardsmen had moved into the optimal position for their ambush to succeed. The resulting slaughter of the Imperials had taken only 22 minutes. As a result of this Blood Pact victory, the crucial Promethean refineries of the Akorite Peninsula remained under the control of the forces of chaos for a further 15 standard months. A marked trait of the Blood Pact is its willingness to collaborate with Xenos breeds and the alien mercenaries from the outer worlds and marches to achieve military objectives. Most notably, the Blood Pact often operates alongside non-human mercenaries called Loxado, using them as shock troopers. The Loxado are sinuous, non-humanoid quadrupeds evolved from amphibian forms. Slightly larger than a human, they are extremely swift and dexterous, and use large claws to give them purchase on many surfaces, allowing them to run up walls and across ceilings. Out of water, the vision, hearing, and smell of this grayed skin alien is dull, and they rely on the powerful taste and vibrations to hunt and corner prey. The Loxado use a weapon of alien design known as a Fletch Blaster. They carry these powerful weapons alongside with ammunition on their torsos, mounted on mechanical armatures that fire the weapon via some unknown mind impulse device. This leaves the Loxado's limb free for climbing. The blasters fire deadly shot bursts filled with millions of razor-sharp filaments that shred armor and cause grievous wounds in their target's flesh. Loxado are believed to operate in small brood group units of biological kin, communicating by vibrations, subatomic calls, and when in close proximity, iridescent patterns that are able to be flashed and move across their skin. Imperial Guardsmen have reported that nearby Loxado activity can often be detected by a nauseous smell, a mix of rancid milk and crushed mint. The officers of the Pact encourage the integration of other Chaos cults and warbands into their pact, especially traitor Imperial Guardsmen units. When Urlach Gar prepared his Blood Pact to face the Imperium, he extensively studied the Imperial Guard regiments that were fighting as part of the Sabbat World Crusade to retake the sector and modeled his coronet soldiers after them. The Blood Pact warriors are trained every bit as rigorously as any soldier of the Imperial Guard and learn the same skills of shooting, melee combat, and basic survival. They are also indoctrinated to obey their superiors in all things without questions. These things, combined with their fanatical loyalty to the Archon and their Chaos God, mean that they are willing to often fight to the very last man, giving and expecting no quarter. Where a regiment of guardsmen would turn tail and run, an equal number of Blood Pact warriors would continue the fight until they or their enemies are all dead, or their objective is complete. They do not fear death, but rather are afraid of dying with their mission incomplete, thus failing both Khorne and the Gar. The most elite unit of the Blood Pact are known as the Death Brigades. Though few in number, the Death Brigades often serve as the vanguard of Blood Pact assaults, as the private company of the most senior Pact officers, or are deployed to carry out various missions as the Forces of Chaos equivalent of the Imperial Guard stormtroopers. They are the most skilled and most feared of the Blood Pact units. The Blood Pact ranking system is completely different from the other armed forces of the Imperium. The rank of a soldier, unlike in Imperial Guard forces, is stated after the individual's name. For example, the warrior Madon Etogar is a soldier named Madon, and Etogar is his rank in the Blood Pact. Higher rank use the Archon's traditional Blood Pact rank, Gar, as the base to symbolize the rank holder's increasing closeness to the Pact Master. Known ranks and their rough Imperial equivalent include Etogar, which is a colonel, Damagar, which is a major, High Sirdar is a captain, and Sidar is a lieutenant. The Blood Pact is a direct and grave military threat to Imperial security in the Segmentum Pacificus. Its disciplined and trained nature means that it represents the elite branch of the arch-enemy's hosts. Furthermore, concern must be expressed as to its increased size. Urlak Gar is a charismatic leader, and the Blood Pact is an aspirational order for many young warriors. The Blood Pact is also a painful object lesson as to how the primary skills and strengths of the noble Imperial Guard may be turned against the Imperium itself. Imperial military leaders are urged to suppress Blood Pact activities wherever it is found. The appearance of Blood Pact forces must be communicated at all costs to Fleet or Subsector Command, as it indicates a pre-planned tactical enemy action as opposed to a random uprising or raid. The vile and heretical legions of chaos are ordinarily a supreme menace to the Imperium of Man because of their savagery and the near numberless strength. The Blood Pact is a rare example of more precious and deliberated destructive force. Records also show that though the Pact shows little quarter, they are more likely to attempt to turn and recruit Imperial soldiers, by force if necessary, than other Chaos forces. They are named the Blood Pact after the chaotic ritual in which they are sworn into. The ritual requires the Blood Pact initiate to slice the palm of his hand on a jagged edge of the Archon's power armor. In rare cases, such as for a sniper whose hands are essential to their trade, another part of the body may be cut to seal the pact. Magister Anakawarna Sect was one of Urlak Gar's closest subordinate. He forged his own Chaos Warband and based it on the motto of the Blood Pact, and they are known as the Sons of Sect. While still relatively new to the War of the Sabbath Worlds, initial reports indicate that the Sons of Sect may be in fact far superior in combat to their Blood Pact cousins. In addition to being of a large, stockier build, the Sons are also equipped with higher quality gear and weapons. The Sons are also better motivated and led, and even include an officer similar to the Imperial Commissar, known as a Scourger, to maintain discipline and morale. This is something that even the unusually disciplined Blood Pact lacks. The Sons of Sect were created not only to fight against the Imperium, but also to serve as Magister Sect's vanguard for when he eventually attempted to overthrow the Gar and assume the position of Archon over the forces of chaos in the Sabbath World sector. Most, if not all, of the Sons of Sect's initial training took place on the chaos-occupied world of Geryon, and they were first encountered by the Geryon resistance. They later played a major role in defending the world from the Imperial Liberator Force. The Sons were trained and equipped in large part due to the intelligence provided by the ex-Blood Pact officer Mabon Etogar and the captured Imperial Lord Militant, General Noches Sturm, who eventually defected to the service of Chaos. Sturm later repented his actions, and in lieu of being executed by Imbram Gaunt, chose to take his own life to regain his honor. And those were 40 facts about the Blood Pacts. hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, comment down below with any suggestions that you guys might have. If you guys have some Imperial Guard regiment, if you guys have some Chaos Demon, Greater Demon that you guys would like us to create a video for, please comment that down below. We're going to take requests, tally them up, and then give you guys those videos. Now, I have a question for you guys. If you guys were a part of an Imperial Guard regiment, it doesn't matter which one. What does matter is that your Imperial Guard regiment is going to be completely wiped out. I'm talking, you're going to be the last man. And then out of nowhere, let's say a coronet cultist comes up to you and says, you know, collect skulls for the skull throne. Become part of the coronet cult. Would you do it? Or if it was another chaos god? Me personally, I think I would do it, even if it doesn't matter which chaos god. If it was Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Khorne, I would definitely betray the Emperor. I'm sorry, but I would, especially for all those awesome powers. Now, what about you guys? Comment down below, let me know. I'm just interested to know. And of course, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The more likes we get on this video, the more awesome content we can provide for you guys. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.